It's a time for pick it from China. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's awesome that you're tuning in. So in this video we are going to take a close look at the X20 Mini. It's the new handheld from AliExpress or China. So I was curious how this thing will play and how it will look, because on the picture they show always like this rip-off Switch systems or Switch Lite in this case. But the question remains, how is it in the inside? Because that is also like most of the questions that you're getting when you're basically looking into the feedbacks. And when you're reading the feedback, it doesn't make any sense. So I just picked these things up to make reviews about, because there's nothing best to make a review about one of those cheap handhelds and show you what you're going to get before you're going to burn your money. So it comes in different colors. We've the black, the purple that I'm having over here. Then we're going to get a yellow, and I think it's more like a light blue, but I didn't see that for sale. So it comes in new colors. Inside we're going to get our typical stuff like the crappy headphones. Like, they are freaking awful. Then we're going to get the cable for charging and data transfer. They are still using a mini USB. Yeah, seriously, why? Like, why are they still using that? And of course, the deluxe toilet paper manual, like always, with explanation how everything works. Here you can see like a quick overview, like how you navigate through the system itself. They give us like the English manual. Sometimes they don't even basically give that to us. But let's take a close look at the device itself. Already mentioned the Switch look-alike, or it's not like really a clone, because what you're going to get in the end is a mini Switch Lite. So it says here already like X20 Mini. We're going to get volume control, select start, and these buttons are cheap clicky ones. Then we're going to get the A, B, X, and Y, like your typical long travel one. They're not the wiggle buttons we have seen before, but they're like the wiggle ones. These plus and minus doesn't do anything. And then we're going to get the D-pad. And I can already tell you, like, the D-pad itself, it feels quite weird. Like, it's a very big D-pad. I'm always like happy going to get a normal big D-pad. But the travel, so the difference what I'm noticing is like when you're pushing it, you can just feel in all the directions we're going to get different, let's say, pressure, like resistance of it. It's kind of weird, like this thing has more, let's say, resistance than the other part of the D-pad. There's a little bit of bummer. Another thing already noticing is like, you can see this is like a quality issue, like the screen is not even attached properly. Let's push it back in. Then we're going to get ourselves over here the slider joystick, like the PlayStation Portable. Personally, I'm not a big fan of those, because I think like slider joystick are not super comfortable to play, but with the PlayStation Portable, it's almost like, it's always leveled to the system itself, and here it basically stands up a little bit, and here you can see like it starts to wiggle when you want to basically move it around. So at the back we're going to get the following connections. We're going to get the headphone jack out, and there is no TV out so far I understand. We're going to get USB mini, and there is still a microphone in this thing, the on and off switch, and the other thing is we're going to get shoulder buttons, like the really horrible clickies micro switches. You need to press them really hard, so that's not going to be very comfortable. Yeah, and the display it's going to be the same stuff that we've seen before, like with cheap handhelds. Let's basically dim the light so I can show you what I mean. The display is not like the most horrible display I've ever seen. Like the viewing angle, it's not great, but it's not like the worst one I've seen. Like when you're looking at the X16 version, like we're having 7H display, like they have a view angle that were pretty damn awful, but it is not super bad. Okay, so the menu is more like style to the PlayStation Vita. That's another thing they ripped off. I also noticed the annoying delay. You can see like there was a slight delay in the menu. It's quite annoying. So what you're going to get over here is the folder. So here we're going to get into the SD card or internal storage, video, music. You can watch some pretty naughty pictures. And here we're going to get the thumbnails. Like they added these thumbnails, you cannot change them out whatsoever. So if there's any problem with the file behind it, you just have this like dead link on the front of it. They're still using the same stuff. So that's it. Like with the settings, there were some new settings I've seen before. But like with the display, here you can see like we having a way to turn the backlight off. Kind of weird if you ask me. Let's see how far we can push this thing. It even stutters when you try like putting in a different brightness, but the brightness is not bad at all when it comes to this cheap little handheld. Alright, so then we're going to get the language in advance. We do have some information about the device itself. It still uses a very early firmware version. Card capacity, here it says over here, and the card free space. But the downside to this all is like when you're looking at the information on the settings, there's no aspect ratio whatsoever here. So there's not a lot of stuff you can basically adjust. Okay, so over here what you're going to get, we're going to get Super Famicom, Mega Drive, NES, we're going to get Mame, and we're going to get Game Boy Advance and Game Boy Color, and I think you can also find, let's say, a little bit of a Game Boy Classic over here. But this is like the system that we're going to get with the support. I think they also removed the PlayStation 1 support with these devices, because in the beginning they said like, yeah, you can play these games, but in the end they didn't run at all, or it runs like shit. So they did manage to downgrade and remove some problems with the new versions. Here we're going to get the battery indication. Here it says like the SD that have been entered in here. So that's it, like you can basically remove it if you want to, even when it's turned on. Take consideration they are using these really weird forms. I think they're like form formats, like I think it was FedEx if I'm saying it correctly. But if you want to, I can make like a tutorial how to basically get your card ready and so you can add yourself some files. But okay, so this is what you're going to get. Let's take a close look at the quick load and quick save menu. But what I think is quite interesting, so when I've removed the SD card, you can see I cannot reach the extra menu anymore. That is another thing they also changed out. Normally we can just go to all the menus, but when you remove the SD card, it doesn't work anymore. So it's quite interesting new way they changed something out. The menu itself, when you're looking at the older models, they still have the same stuff going on here. Here we're going to get a restart, basically it's also for using the game or starting the game. Load progress and the settings. Oh man, this menu is like so freaking slow. Here we're going to change some things out. Keyboard mapping do we have here. So if you want to change something out, you can do it over there. The screen size, it has been set to widescreen full screen, but if you're going to set it to original size, you're going to get this very strange window. We do have scaled, that is slightly better. Let's try the scaled version first. And that's the only thing that we can get when it comes to the menu itself. So let's boot it up. Okay, some strange reason when it comes to the aspect ratio, nothing worked. There's only one downside. They mapped the freaking back button again to the shoulder button. Like with previous model, we had like a separate button for that, like the back button, or you press select and start, but they completely messed it up with this one. And yep, it's possible if you're going to need this button for a certain game, you cannot freaking use it. Oh boy. Like how can you mess it up? You can mess it up big time. Okay, scale. You can see like it didn't do anything. Alright, let's return to the game. And here you see like it doesn't do anything. So let's take a close look again at the final option. I just wanted to show you what happens then. Screen size. Let's go to the original size. Let's go back to the return game. And this is what I mean. Like it looks all messed up. Like, wow. Like I can still remember like the previous one still had some issues with the weird settings, but this is completely messed up. Okay, so the funny thing is like the speaker, there's only one speaker over here. It goes quite loud, so it's not really bad. Alright, so let's see how the game itself runs. You can hear like the emulation is not like it should be. The D-pad feels quite nice. But you can just hear that it still struggles with the same games all the freaking time. I've got present for you. Whew. But if you don't mind like the slowdowns and stuff like that, you can still enjoy some Mame. Okay, so I was just messing around with the battery, just see if we can finally play some games. But get what, like it was already like messed up somehow. Alright, so when you plug it in, it asks you what you want to do. But I messed it up by pressing the charge. But another thing, like when you're trying to, when you're in the game menu and you want to choose with the charging menu, you cannot switch back to it. So let's see if it's going to be doing the same game. Yeah, it's doing the same thing. Let's see if we can like manage to get it to work now. Yeah, now we can. Okay, let's say around charge and play. And if you're going to put it on charge, it's going automatically goes in charge with this weird icon in the freaking corner. But that's, yeah, oh man, what a mess. Okay, so the next thing I want to try out is the Donkey Kong Country game for the Super NES. And the reason is like with all the previous models, they have issues. You can hear like it's dropping down in frames. It has so much struggle getting the game to work. And that's such a bummer, just like reshelling all these bloody things. The only thing I do like about it that we can actually like play the game with a decent display. When the game starts up, it will work just okay, but it's not like you can really enjoy it in the long term. Okay, so next up, let's play a 16-bit game. Another thing I'm noticing, like, big level audio difference between the second and the third game now. It's not like bad like the first edition I've reviewed, but it's not perfect emulation whatsoever. Alright, lights off, that's better. But you can see, like, when you're going to remove the screen protector, it's going to be a very glossy situation with the front plastic here. And these things are made very cheaply, so it will scratch very easily. So in my opinion, it's not the best quality, but yeah, for the money you cannot expect a lot, to be honest. But also when you're looking at the 8-bit, it doesn't have like the same, let's say, quality emulation that we have seen before. It seems to be running just fine, but when you're booting it up, it sounds so messed up. Alright guys, so when you're looking at the emulation performance, it's pretty damn shitty. It's the same stuff like we've seen before. Maybe here and there it's slightly like a little bit better. But in overall, like, it's going to be the same stuff all over again. It's a little bit of a bummer because the D-pad with this device is absolutely not bad at all. Alright, so let's see if we can remove the sticker itself. You know what? Just break the seal like that. Don't care about it. Because warranty from AliExpress, you have 30 days of dispute time, and that's it, you know. Alright, I think I get myself a prior tool just to open it up. Because that is basically what we're going to get with these devices. And I'm curious like how this thing looks in the inside when it comes to the PCB and how big is the battery. So the clue how to open it up is always find like a part of the system that has a little bit of space. Okay, so my shoulder button already falling out. And from that point on you can very gently... Alright, so... Alright, there we go. And that's it. So that's basically what we're going to get. Alright. Okay, so it's quite interesting concept what they're making over there. Like basically we're going to get one big PCB that basically contains all of the connections. So first of all we're going to see here the connection for the speaker. And what's interesting, on the other side you can see we do have the speaker. So normally we could have the option for stereo sound. Sadly there is no option in the casing itself. So over here we're going to get the battery. The battery is only like 50 milliamp. It's not a big one. So it's one you can maybe pick up if this thing goes basically bad. You can always like replace it, but you need to do some soldering over there. Here you can see the connections. Not going to touch it. Okay, so the shoulder buttons, we're going to get these tiny cheap micro switches, and that's basically what we're going to get in the inside. Nothing really fancy. Don't see any date when it's made, but I'm guessing this most of the time the product itself is already like a couple of years old when I'm getting it. It's kind of weird that they're still using the mini USB form connection, by the way. It's kind of weird. But okay guys, so what you're going to get basically is the same stuff that we've seen before. There are some minor improvements when it comes to the system itself. I do like the form factor. The D-pad plays very well, even though it feels quite weird that you're having like different direction, different, let's say, pressure underneath. So basically when you're looking at this device, it's absolutely like not an improvement when it comes to the software. Yeah, let me know in the comments what you think of these devices. Would you consider picking it up? I want to thank you for watching. Consider subscribing. Hit that little bell. Become the Wicked family. And I will see you in the next video.